At the Marriage Foundation, we address marriage in a very positive way. We don't try to break the mold, but what we do is we use things that actually work. My name is Paul Frieden, and I founded the Marriage Foundation. And one of the questions that came to us is, what do I do if my husband doesn't love me anymore? This is a tough one. For anyone who has that feeling, it can be extremely discouraging, very painful, really confusing, and really there is a lot you can do about it, and that's what we're going to talk about. Understand this. You almost 99% certainly, change that, 99.9% certainly, didn't get married with the right prescription for a happy marriage. Everyone seems to get married because it's the next thing to do, and or I met my soulmate, and or it's time, and or etc., missing the real reasons for getting married. And it's laughable that we don't consciously consider, wait a minute, I want to get married in order to be happier. Who doesn't? Let's take that further. I want to be happier every day of my life. I want to be with the person who really just completes my life, makes my world so much better. How does that happiness happen if you're not moving towards it, if you're not actually doing something to make that happen? So why be shocked if you're feeling like your husband doesn't love you anymore? I'm not saying it's okay, but why be shocked when you haven't done anything for the second reason we get married? To be in marital love, to experience unconditional love. That's why we get married. Those are the two promises of marriage, normally unspoken. Almost all the time, nothing is done to make it happen. Would you get into a car without knowing how to drive? Of course not. But we all get married without knowing how to be married. Look, my first marriage was a disaster because I didn't know. And then I thought, you know what? Divorce is a good idea. And I became a divorce mediator, had a thriving business in San Diego. A lot of money there. I made a lot of money. I did good. I did well. But there came a point where I thought, there's something else. There's something missing here. And you know how things work in the world. It's not just like one day you wake up and you have this idea, but there's things that happen to you. And certain things happened to me that made me take a look at doing something else, what I'm doing now. It's been over 2 decades, but I shifted my practice to helping people with their marriages, and I recognized that the way that was being done was all wrong. So I did my research, and it's really good stuff that I found, including these 2 promises of marriage. You actually get married in order to be happier every single day of your life and to feel unconditional love. Not just love, but that kind of love that wells up from your heart that just takes over. That's why we get married. So, whatever you do, you always learn as much as you can about that which you are going to do, and you apply what you learn in order to get the rewards that you basically signed up for. No one does that with marriage. And that's what's happening in yours. So, we're human beings. We have free will. You don't have to go back. You don't have to go back and take a look at what you did wrong. It doesn't matter. You don't go back and look at your childhood. It doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters because what trumps everything is that you have free will. So you're able to make big changes now, huge changes that will turn everything around. You and your husband found each other for a reason. I don't want to get all spiritual or mystical here, but I've never seen two people who weren't together for a reason. You need to exploit the fact that you're together. You need to bring that love up, and you can do it. It's honestly, the hardest part is learning how, taking the time, and then applying it. Well, there is another part that is hard, I'm going to be honest with you, because in my research, let's call it research, and then of course I practiced with many people, including myself. Thousands have since signed up for our course for women. Thousands have signed up for the course for men. So we know what works. And the first step is the most important step, because you need to make changes. Let's recognize that right off the bat. You're going to need to make changes. You want to know what to do because your husband doesn't love you anymore? Is you have to change yourself into that person who he originally fell in love with, and then some. The trouble is, with most, let's call it programs, whether it's with a marriage counselor or online thing or whatever, they spell out very nicely, most of the time, those things you should do. But you can't do it because of the habits in your mind. So I realized this very early on, and I came up with methods for literally learning how to gain mastery over your mind. What does that mean? That means that you can get rid of bad habits, bad reactions. You can get rid of them. You don't have to manage them. You could literally get rid of the bad habits. Let's say you are prone to anger. You could get rid of that completely. Let's say you tend to argue a lot. You could get rid of that. Confrontation, get rid of that. All of these habits, these reactive habits, you learn to get rid of that. You learn to then insert positive habits that will bring you back to a loving space. And I say bringing you back, and I'm giving you something here because most people never really had it. They may have had the emotions of it in the beginning, but because they didn't march towards that, happiness and love, it was never ever super part of the marriage. So there's so much you can do, you just have to learn how to do it. Marriage is not simple. I'm not going to pretend it's simple. It's complex. You still have to learn it. People can learn to drive. That's complex. You could learn to be married. And there's a lot of forgiveness in things that you do when you're on the right path. So you got to get on the right path. Subscribe to this channel. That'll help you get on the right path because you'll learn so much about marriage in a positive way. You know, for instance, whoever told you about free will changing everything right now and you don't have to worry about the past. Most people go, well, you know, I had this really rough childhood. You don't have to go there. Trust me on this. Subscribe to the channel. Go to our website. Our website is filled with information. These YouTube videos are great. Some articles. There's lots of information. You have this marriage for the rest of your life. Make it amazing. Thanks for spending time with me. Like the video, leave a comment, leave a question. This is where I go and answer questions. Otherwise, you could always write in to our counselors. It's a free service at themarriagefoundation.org. You go to the Ask a Counselor tab and you could get your questions answered. Thank you for joining me. Take care and God bless.